You know them from blockbuster movies, hit TV shows, and maybe even that one role that made them Hollywood royalty. But guess what? Right now, they're not walking red carpets, they're pacing prison cells. From shocking crimes to career-ending scandals, these once beloved actors went from the silver screen to behind bars. What happened? Who are they? And most importantly, how did their Hollywood dream turn into a real-life nightmare? Buckle up, because this list is about to get wild. Take a moment to relax, grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, and enjoy this video with us. May 2014, a 911 call. On the other end of the line, actor Michael Jace. What did he say? "I shot my wife." Witnesses said trouble had been brewing for some time. His wife was planning to divorce him. But instead of letting her go, Michael took the unthinkable route. He pulled the trigger. Although he later claimed he only meant to hurt her, the shots were fatal. When police arrived, they found his wife lying on the ground. There was no mystery. Michael confessed on the spot and was arrested. Charged with second-degree murder, his trial quickly turned into a nightmare. The most damning testimony: his own son took the stand, recalling his father's chilling words, "If you want to run so much, run to heaven." Michael pleaded not guilty, but the jury didn't buy it. By June 2016, he was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. Unlike the next actress who is now on death row, Michael still has a cell to call home. And frankly, he's not going to be free anytime soon. Once a child actor with dreams of stardom, Skylar DeLeon took a dark turn that shocked the nation. In 2002, DeLeon and his wife had dabbled in petty crime. But in 2004, they staged something much darker, a brutal yacht murder that shocked the nation. Posing as prospective buyers, DeLeon and a group of accomplices lured Tom and Jackie Hawks, a couple selling their yacht, into a deadly trap. Once on board, the group overpowered the victims and threw them overboard. For years, the crime remained a chilling mystery, with DeLeon seemingly evading justice. But the building collapsed when one of his accomplices caved in and confessed, leading to a high-profile trial. The verdict? 3 first-degree felony counts. The punishment? A death sentence. But due to California's death penalty moratorium, DeLeon remains in prison for life. In a twist to the story, Skylar has transitioned since his conviction and now goes by the name Skylar Preciosa DeLeon. But no name change can erase the horrific legacy of what happened that fateful day at sea.
And I said, I didn't quite understand it. They said, you're the only guy in any studio who actually must have read the thing, because they wrote it to see whether somebody would bring it up or not.
For decades, Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood, a producer whose influence seemed untouchable. But in October 2017, his empire came crashing down in a scandal that would shake the entire industry. It started with shocking reports from the New York Times and the New Yorker, exposing years of abuse, coercion, and misconduct. Weinstein had allegedly used his power to manipulate and silence victims, relying on his network of enablers to keep the stories buried. But once the truth came out, a flood of survivors came forward, revealing a horrifying pattern of predatory behavior that had been hidden in plain sight. By May 2018, the New York District Attorney's Office formally charged Weinstein with rape, misconduct, and criminal sexual acts. That same day, he turned himself in. Though he posted a massive $1 million bail, his legal troubles were only beginning. In 2020, he was convicted on 2 of 5 major charges, but even that was enough to land him a 23-year prison sentence. His legal team fought for an appeal, but by June 2022, it was rejected. And Weinstein's nightmare isn't over. He's still facing additional charges in an ongoing trial that began in October 2022. Once Hollywood's untouchable kingpin, Weinstein is now a cautionary tale of unchecked power and overdue justice.
Definitions of courtship, but for us, it meant really choosing purity, choosing to wait for a lot of things that people would take for granted. So our first kiss was on our wedding day.
Once a wholesome face of 19 kids and counting, Josh Duggar built his reality TV image as a devoted family man. But behind the scenes, he was hiding dark secrets that would eventually land him behind bars. For years, whispers surrounded Duggar with disturbing allegations of misconduct toward minors, yet no arrests were ever made. That changed in 2021, when federal investigators uncovered a disturbing collection of illicit material on his computer. The evidence was damning, with one U.S. Marshal describing Duggar's hard drive as one of the worst he had ever examined. With that, Josh was arrested, and the once protected reality star faced a brutal legal reckoning. His legal team scrambled with delays and procedural tactics, but nothing could stop the inevitable. In November 2021, the jury found him guilty, and by May 2022, Duggar was sentenced to over 12 years in prison. While he may be eligible for release in 2032, his punishment doesn't end there. He will remain a registered sex offender with 20 years of supervised release. From reality TV fame to a federal prison cell, Duggar's downfall is one of the most shocking in Hollywood history. Best known for her minor roles in The Vampire Diaries and The Walking Dead, Shannon Richardson made headlines for something far more sinister than acting. In June 2013, she was arrested for attempting to poison President Barack Obama, a plot straight out of a political thriller. Authorities discovered that Richardson had mailed letters laced with ricin, a deadly and nearly undetectable poison, to not only Obama, but also New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg and a gun control advocacy group. When confronted, she admitted to sending the letters but blamed her husband, claiming she had been coerced. The courts didn't buy it. The evidence overwhelmingly pointed to her as the mastermind, and prosecutors prepared to hand down a severe sentence. Facing an ironclad case, Richardson eventually took a plea deal to avoid even harsher consequences. In 2014, she was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison. From Hollywood extra to convicted felon, her story is one of the most bizarre and shocking scandals to ever come out of the entertainment world.
I don't know. Look, dude, I ain't never a guy behind anything I didn't feel like I could handle. That's just fucking nuts.
William Hayden, a gun expert and reality TV star of Sons of Guns, went from celebrity to life in prison after a series of horrifying allegations. In August 2014, Hayden was arrested for sexual assault and crimes against nature. Authorities claimed he had been abusing young people for years, and as the case progressed, the allegations only got worse. In a shocking twist, his own daughter came forward, accusing him of similar crimes. Hayden denied everything, but the evidence and testimony contradicted him. When the trial ended, Hayden's fate was sealed. The jury found him guilty, and he was sentenced to 2 life sentences with an additional life sentence to follow. No parole, no second chances. The man who once built weapons for TV audiences will now spend the rest of his life in prison, his name forever linked to one of the most disturbing scandals in reality TV history.
It's the way we're talking. Okay, well, first of all, you haven't recognized the rest of us 40 people that are running. It's all about Trump, Merkel, Rubio.
If you thought Tiger King was wild, Joe Exotic's real life is even crazier. The former zookeeper and Netflix documentary star went from running a big cat empire to rotting in jail, and it all started with a plot to kill his tenant. In September 2018, just months after leaving the zoo, Joe was arrested for trying to hire a hitman to kill Carolee Baskin, an outspoken animal rights activist and longtime nemesis. But that's not all. When his trial began in March 2019, prosecutors filed additional charges, including animal cruelty and falsifying wildlife records. Meanwhile, Joe tried and failed to sue the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in a desperate attempt to fight back. The legal battle didn't go his way, and Joe was ultimately sentenced to 22 years in prison. Despite his incarceration, Joe remains a larger-than-life figure. He's still making headlines, still fighting for his release, and has even written an autobiography from Prison Tiger King, the official tell-all memoir. Whether he serves his full sentence or finds his way back into the spotlight, one thing's for sure: Joe Exotic's story isn't over yet. March 2020. Riverdale actor Ryan Grantham made headlines in the most chilling way imaginable. The rising star wasn't just in the mood for a new role, he was at the center of a horrific crime. In a moment that shocked the world, Ryan shot his mother while she played the piano, then recorded a confession video. But what happened next was even more terrifying. Ryan then allegedly set his sights on an even bigger target, none other than Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Armed with a terrifying plan, he plotted a course to assassinate Trudeau, but then switched to an even darker alternative: a mass shooting. Fortunately, neither of those plans ever came to fruition. Instead, Ryan turned himself in to police. Charged with second-degree murder, the case took a shocking turn in court. His legal team argued that the then 21-year-old was struggling with serious mental health issues, but the jury was unmoved. The verdict? A life sentence. There was a glimmer of leniency, though Ryan will be eligible for parole after 14 years. One thing is certain, though: he won't be free anytime soon. And if you thought Ryan's case was far-fetched, wait until you hear about the former fast food announcer turned actor who ended up in prison for a truly disturbing reason. Don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe for more prison horror stories.
Fuck y'all talking about, man?
Man, D talking about he could whoop Mike Tyson.
Man, get a man the whole story. I ain't talking about Iron Mike. I'm talking about right now, old and fat Mike.
In 2018, Kyle and Walker seemed like an actor on the rise, landing a role in the Superfly remake. But behind the scenes, his Hollywood aspirations were overshadowed by serious allegations. 4 models came forward, accusing Walker of luring them in with fake promises of career opportunities, only to allegedly take advantage of them once they were alone. Authorities wasted no time, slapping him with 9 felony assault charges. Despite the severity of the case, Walker managed to post a staggering $1.1 million bail and walked free temporarily. A year later, the case exploded as more victims came forward, leading to another arrest. Again, he paid bail, but this time his luck ran out. At trial, the jury didn't buy his defense. The verdict? Guilty. The punishment? 50 years to life behind bars. On top of that, the judge ordered him to register as a sex offender, ensuring his name would carry that label forever. From Hollywood to a prison cell, Walker's career didn't just end, it collapsed in the most public and brutal way possible.
Not unless you drop those charges against Jake. He was just protecting me. He doesn't need this.
Well, I just wanted to go out with you.
You don't know anything about me.
If you give me a chance.
That's my choice, not yours.
Once a rising star in Melrose Place, Amy Locane saw her Hollywood dreams shattered in an instant. On a fateful night in June 2010, she was driving drunk nearly 3 times over the legal limit, speeding 15 miles over, when disaster struck. As Fred Seaman turned into his driveway, Locane's car slammed into his vehicle with brutal force. Fred survived, but his wife Helen Seaman was killed on impact. When police arrived, they found Locane visibly intoxicated, leading to her arrest. Facing charges of aggravated manslaughter and assault by automobile, Locane's life took a drastic turn. In 2012, a jury convicted her, and she was sentenced to just 3 years in prison, a decision that sparked outrage. By 2015, Locane was out, but her legal troubles weren't over. In 2016, a New Jersey court ruled her sentence was too lenient, and in 2019, she was hit with 5 more years behind bars. She posted bail and appealed, but the gamble didn't pay off. In 2020, she was resentenced to 8 years in prison, with at least 6 years before she's eligible for parole. From Hollywood fame to a prison cell, Locane's story is a sobering reminder of how one reckless decision can destroy lives, including her own. If you liked this video, leave a 1 in the comments. Otherwise, let me know with a 0. I really appreciate your feedback. Once known for his role in Austin Powers, Joseph's son fell into a downward spiral that ended in one of the darkest criminal records in Hollywood history. It all started in May 2008, when he was convicted of felony vandalism and sentenced to 60 days in jail. But that minor conviction was just the tip of the iceberg. As part of his plea deal, Son had to submit his DNA to law enforcement, a decision that would come back to haunt him. The DNA linked him to a brutal 1990 gang assault, leading to his arrest in October 2008. The case went to trial, and the victim's testimony made it clear Son was guilty. It looked like he was headed for life behind bars, but there was a legal loophole. The statute of limitations had expired. He dodged a life sentence for that crime, but the system wasn't done with him yet. Son was still convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and torture charges with no expiration date. In 2011, he was sentenced to 17 years in prison. But even behind bars, his violent streak continued. In 2017, Son got into a deadly altercation with his cellmate, Michael Graham, a man serving time for failing to register as a sex offender. The fight turned fatal, and Son was charged with murder. The result? Another 27 years tacked onto his sentence. From Hollywood to a lifetime in prison, Joseph Son's downfall is a chilling reminder that the past always catches up, no matter how long it takes. For years, Danny Masterson was a familiar face in Hollywood, best known for that 70s show and The Ranch. But in March 2017, his career came crashing down when 3 women came forward with allegations of assault, triggering a full-scale police investigation. As the accusations mounted, Netflix and his talent agency dropped him, and his once thriving career turned to ashes. Things got even darker when a 4th woman stepped forward, alleging even more disturbing behavior. But this wasn't just about Masterson. It became a scandal involving the Church of Scientology. The women claimed they were stalked, harassed, and intimidated after speaking out. One woman said a Scientology member took photos of her house, while another reported that someone broke a window leading to her 13-year-old daughter's bedroom. These chilling accusations added even more legal pressure to Masterson's already crumbling defense. By June 2021, Masterson pleaded not guilty, but his trial became a long, drawn-out battle. Finally, in November 2022, the jury deliberated, but instead of a clear verdict, they deadlocked, unable to reach a decision. With another round of deliberations scheduled after Thanksgiving, Masterson's fate hung in the balance. If convicted, he faced up to 45 years behind bars, a potential life sentence for the once popular sitcom star. We really appreciate you sticking around and watching our videos. Leave a 2 in the comments to let us know you're still here with us.
What you can read in a textbook or what you see in a classroom. It's about really being able to connect with the outside world and watch people do what they do on a daily basis. And
at first glance, Zachary Horowitz looked like just another struggling Hollywood actor trying to make it big. But behind the scenes, he was running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in Hollywood history, one that stole over $200 million from investors. In April 2021, Horowitz was arrested for wire fraud after his company, One In Productions, raised over $600 million from wealthy investors. He claimed he had exclusive licensing deals with Netflix and HBO, promising massive returns on film distribution rights. The only problem? The deals never existed. Horowitz faked contracts, forged emails, and ran an elaborate con that went undetected for years until investors started asking where their money was. By the time the truth came out, hundreds of millions had vanished, and the DOJ was ready to take him down. Facing overwhelming evidence, Horowitz pleaded guilty to securities fraud. In February 2022, he was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison and ordered to pay $230 million in restitution. From red carpet dreams to a prison jumpsuit, Horowitz's story proves that in Hollywood, not every blockbuster is on the big screen. Some are just massive frauds waiting to be exposed. Once a fan favorite on American Ninja Warrior, Drew Drexel saw his career come crashing down in August 2020 when he was arrested on disturbing charges involving young people. The FBI revealed shocking details, accusing Drexel of having inappropriate relations with a minor and convincing her to send him illegal material. The backlash was immediate. NBC cut all ties, removed him from American Ninja Warrior, and even edited past seasons to remove him entirely. Drexel has been charged with multiple crimes, including producing illegal material and misconduct with multiple young girls. Although he has denied everything, his legal battle looks bleak. His request for bail has been denied, meaning he remains in custody while he awaits trial. Once lauded for his strength and agility, Drexel now faces the fight of his life, and it's a fight he may not be able to win.
Hold up the jeans because this says a lot.
These are more famous than I am because these are the pants. These are the old 60-inch pair of pants that I used to wear.
So that's what was.
And they are the relaxed fit, though.
Once a national success story, Jared Fogle became a household name for losing nearly 250 pounds by eating Subway. His journey from obesity to fitness turned him into the face of the sandwich empire, landing him commercial deals, celebrity appearances, and even a parody episode on South Park. But behind the clean-cut image was a disturbing secret one that would destroy his career forever. In 2007, radio host Rochelle Walrond became suspicious of Jared after he made disturbing comments about middle school girls. Sensing something was seriously wrong, she secretly recorded their conversations and saved text messages as evidence. She turned it all over to the FBI, who recruited her as an informant, instructing her to gather more intel over the next 4 years. Through Rochelle, authorities learned that Jared had a deeply disturbing obsession, but frustratingly, they couldn't act without solid evidence of an actual crime. That break came in 2015, when the FBI raided the home of Russell Taylor, the director of Jared's charity. They discovered a trove of illegal materials, and worse, Taylor had been sending some of them directly to Jared. With concrete proof, the FBI raided Fogle's home in July 2015, arresting him on multiple charges related to child exploitation. Subway immediately cut ties, and his Hollywood opportunities, including a Sharknado cameo, vanished overnight. Facing up to 50 years in prison, Fogel took a plea deal, resulting in a 15-year sentence. Though eligible for parole in the future, his reputation is permanently destroyed, turning one of America's most famous weight loss icons into one of its most infamous criminals. I'd love to know what you want to learn next. Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll answer them in the next video. Once known as Chloe Sullivan from Smallville, Allison Mack had a shocking double life that Hollywood never saw coming. On the surface, she championed female empowerment, but behind closed doors, she was a high-ranking figure in NXIVM, so-called self-help group that hid a dark, sinister secret. Within NXIVM, Mack played a leading role in DOS, an underground faction with a Latin name that loosely translated to Master over the Slave Women. Instead of guiding young actresses to success, she allegedly lured them into a secretive system of branding, coercion, and disturbing rituals. The FBI took action in April 2018, arresting Mack on serious charges, including trafficking and conspiracy. Prosecutors claimed she manipulated and controlled victims, profiting from their suffering while maintaining a carefully crafted public image. Facing a potential lifetime behind bars, Mack ultimately cooperated with authorities, providing key information that helped dismantle DOS and bring its leaders to justice. Her cooperation earned her a significantly reduced sentence, 3 years in prison, $20,000 in fines, and 1,000 hours of community service. A far cry from what many expected, but a steep fall from grace for the once beloved TV star.
Actually, materialistically, I was very successful. I had the job, I had the dog, I had the car, I had the boyfriend, I had the blah, 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 the clothes, everything that I thought I needed in order to be okay. And yet, I couldn't stand to be with my family for more than 2 hours at a time.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like to show your support, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new content, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts. See you in the next video.